to make that appointment.
Yeah. When I spoke, I said that the Prime Minister would not have used any authority to intervene in the situation. The situation is very clear. The Constitution, according to Section 121, subsection 6, clearly states that the final authority rests with the Prime Minister and Prime Minister's office. In a situation like this, where a Prime Minister would repose a significant amount of confidence in the head of the public service, the custom and the practice and the policy has always been that it's the head of the public service who appoints or disappoints. All the Prime Minister is required to do is to have a veto, an objection, for example, or non-objection. And that generally, in most cases, is a formality. In the case with Mr. Creed, he was on vacation. He had applied for pre-retirement leave. He was told by the public service that he could not take pre-retirement leave until he actually came back, which would have been in April. So he's more than entitled to come back into the service, provided, I presume, that there are no charges hanging over his head. Now, in this particular instance, there are no charges yet proffered, if indeed there will be, against Mr. Creed. So therefore, Mr. Cooper, in his wisdom, decided that there was absolutely no reason why he should in any way discriminate against Mr. Creed coming back. And it was, as he has said on record, it was at his sole discretion that Mr. Creed was brought back into the office of the Prime Minister.
So legally, it would appear to be perfectly ordinary for this sort of action to be done, but in the context of all that has been associated with the Ministry of Sport and specifically the live sport program,
yes,
and the fact that Mr. Creed was the permanent secretary in that ministry, do you accept that there will be concerns as to how this appears to have Mr. Creed now in the PM's office?
There may be, but the point is that there are no charges yet proffered, and as I said, yet, if indeed there will be, hanging over Mr. Creed's head, and so therefore the Prime Minister nor Mr. Cooper would have had any reason to preclude him from coming back at this point in time. If indeed there comes a point in time where charges are laid for infractions that may have taken place, then that's a different story. But up until now, there would have been really no reason, legal or moral, to prevent Mr. Creed from coming back to work.
And finally, if I can, in the couple of minutes that I have, if I could squeeze in an issue related to the Congress of the People, which is supposed to be part of the partnership, but based on what Nicole Dyer has been saying in her farewell remarks about the Congress of the People, she said basically the UNC-run government has treated the COP like a doormat. That may be her perspective. I think the leader of the COP has a different perspective. He certainly has, but of course you wouldn't sit here and say, well, we've treated them like an appendage on a doormat. That wouldn't be expected at all. But doesn't this suggest that there's a tremendous amount of disquiet within the partnership? We've already had the MSJ departing the scene a couple of years ago. We've had the COP occasional rumblings. Is it not reasonable to suggest that there is a sense of the UNC feeling that the UNC is in control of this government? No, I don't believe so at all. I think there will always be tensions and disagreements when you have people coming together from with different perspectives and from different cultures. And it's really just a question of managing it and doing so effectively. Has it been managed effectively? Has there been proper, frank dialogue before decisions have been taken that would have influenced or would have affected the COP directly? I can't say 100% for sure that there's always been. I mean, if I'm honest, at the end of the day, more needed to have been done. The personalities involved were such that not everything worked 100%. But I think the fact that the government has lasted 5 years thus far and we're preparing for another term, signals the fact that things are working and it's going to get better. Are you concerned that any greater level of disaffection within the COP or with those who might be leaving the COP could create a situation where there could be embarrassing revelations or accusations leading up to a general election? That's always a possibility, but it would be very difficult for me to say at this point in time who may want to leave and what revelations they may have. What I will say is that the departure of Nicole Griffith, I don't believe is a significant loss to the partnership. So you consider it to be irrelevant to the politics? Not irrelevant, but I don't think it's a significant loss. I don't think it's something that we need to concern ourselves too much with. That sounds very dismissive. No, it isn't. The fact is that no one person is greater than the organisation or the parties together. I think that many people believe, I'm of that belief as well,
that this government has performed and done more than any other government in the past. And so therefore, on that basis alone, I believe that no one person leaving the organisation is going to affect it in any significant way.
Mr. Barrett, thanks very much as always for coming in to share your perspective on many different issues here in the mix, and just let Foreign Affairs know if when they have to make their decision, just let the media know exactly why, so we wouldn't necessarily make a mountain out of a molehill if that is the case. We have the news coming up, and then move